Hello. Welcome to the channel. This is part of a 5 video series where I'll be going over the pathway to the 2026 T20 World Cup. So make sure to check out the other videos linked below. Let's get right into it. We're going to be looking at the African qualifiers in this video, and just as a quick reminder, these regional qualifiers are to decide 8 of the teams that make it to the World Cup, as the other 12 make it automatically, which I talked about in our video covering the general path to the World Cup. So, the African qualifiers are being hosted on Zimbabwe from September 19th to October 4th of 2025, and a total of 8 teams are playing, out of which 2 will make it to the World Cup in 2026. Now, these 8 teams had 2 different ways to make it to these qualifiers. Either you're part of the 2024 World Cup or you advance through different sub-regional tournaments. And the teams that were able to make it through participation in the 2024 World Cup were Namibia and Uganda, who both won one match each. Namibia won against Oman in a super over where David Visa decided he was going to control everything, had an amazing performance batting, had an amazing performance bowling. And Uganda won against PNG in a low-scoring thriller where neither team went past 80. The remaining 6 teams made it through 3 different sub-regional tournaments held through late 2024, the first of which was Africa Sub-Regional A, which had a total of 6 teams participating as seen here. Now, Tanzania was comfortably able to make it through by winning all 5 of their matches by big margins, as you can see through that net run rate. And Malawi also had a relatively comfy route to the Africa qualifier as they moved on with 4 wins out of 5. The final match of the sub-regional qualifier saw Tanzania take on Malawi, where Tanzania did end up winning by 19 runs. So that could be something to keep in mind when we look at the qualifiers later into the 2025. The second tournament was Africa Sub-Regional B, held in Kenya. This tournament also saw 2 out of 6 teams move on, and unsurprisingly, Zimbabwe moved on with 5 out of 5 wins and a net run rate of almost 9. So they completely dominated throughout the tournament. Kenya was closely following behind with 4 wins out of 5 and also a very solid net run rate. And the rest of the teams were not too close to qualifying, so that just shows the level of disparity between Zimbabwe, Kenya, and the other teams in this region. Something most interesting was the very first match where some of Gambia's players missed a flight and didn't arrive in time, which resulted in a forfeit against Rwanda, and Rwanda won without playing a single ball. Zimbabwe also scored 344 against Gambia and won by 290 runs, so they are really here to play and blow teams out of the waters. Kandaraza had a phenomenal knock. Finally, Africa Sub-Regional C was held in Nigeria, and following a common theme of the host comfortably moving on, Nigeria won 5 out of their 5 games with a strong net run rate. Second place was a bit more of a battle, but ultimately Botswana was able to edge out some strong competition from Sierra Leone and moved on with 4 out of 5 wins, leaving Sierra Leone stranded on 3 out of 5. See, the tournament also saw Nigeria bowl the Ivory Coast out for 7. So again, like we've seen, they're here to play. So our final teams moving on to the Africa qualifiers are, as mentioned, it's good. As I mentioned, it'll be hosted in Zimbabwe, which is a big reason for why I strongly believe that the 2 teams that making it out of this will be Zimbabwe and Namibia. However, a lot of these teams have put up really strong performances, and I would love to see a team make an upset and make a run to the World Cup, like Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda again. So yeah, I think this will be a really good test for all these teams, and that is the information about the 2026 African qualifiers.